Hello, everyone. Hello. I am Alex Levin. We're here together to practice. Hello, Steve. Glad you're here. Just leaning in to see the chat, see who joins me live. I know Tanya registered and maybe Michelle Chapman. I'm so glad you're here with me, and I know others of you watch throughout the week or later. So let's get to it. Let's arrive. My theme, I'm feeling that I'm drafting on last week's theme, which was about us knowing our connectedness, that we're not alone. And one of the ways I was thinking about it last week was in prayer or asking for help, just kind of knowing the other is out there, but also in the sense of prayer that or trusting the universe, or knowing that knowing that oh, I was going to use my earbuds. Let me make sure. Hopefully you've been hearing me, but I think it'll be a little better if I plug my earbuds in. There we go. That might be better. So in the act or the intent of reaching out, asking for help, there is a recognition that what we know or think we know, the sphere of what we imagine, is incomplete, and that by kind of putting down, suspending, at least for a moment, that what we think we know is the absolute truth, and the all be all, that we open ourselves up to the possibility of creativity, serendipity, blessings of sorts that we don't yet know. So I'll talk more, but we're kind of going to be in a similar theme today. Let's arrive. Bonjour. Sense how you are here. You might, as you sense into being right here, you might have a sense, a glimpse of that always-ness, that never not here presence, that sense of yourself that is the very same. So I would say with a capital S, self, that is the very same that it was a week ago, 3 years ago, 20 years ago, 60 years ago. For me, that those numbers fit. From when you were your first memory, from when you had your first memory. For some of us, that's 2 years old. For some, it's more like 5. Like for me, it was 5 years old. But that sense of your own presence is not different. And that is probably, amid all my themes, that's the most important one to lean into, that sense of who we are in our eternal presence. And so very practical also to check in, merging with that, to check in with the physical body, the sense of this mass, this earth suit, this human with legs and hips. Maybe you're lying down, maybe you're sitting on a chair, whatever parts are touching the ground, that solid to solid interaction of all these very changing parts of ourselves, always changing. But they are so rich, and so much our truth as well, and so much can help us to pause. And we need that pause often to come away from all the activity of the always changing elements of life, to sense that eternity of ourself, that always-ness. And what I have been finding in my practice, my physical, but it's never divorced from my emotional and my psychological, um, my spiritual being, all of them together, but the physical inquiry and verification. Where's ground? Where are the parts of me that are connecting all the dots? The downward pull, and maybe you've had the joy of being led through this in a yoga class where we did something once with Kira Sloan where we were standing on a block, I think. In our studio, we had sort of squishy blocks, not the even the cork ones are a little squishy, not the wood blocks, but in the wood block would be different, but it would still work. When you sort of push down into the block, and then I think we might have had one foot on it. We were standing on one foot, pushing down. And then when you release that push, you can feel the equal and opposite levity coming up. And again, whichever orientation you're in, lying down, sitting, whatever shape you're in right now, whatever orientation to gravity, that's one way you can feel it. You can push, 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 push down, and then release up. Allow, just like buoyantly go with the up that is there already too. So these physical cues of finding where you are in space, of the particular feel of the carpet against my foot, of my sits bones against the blanket, the folded blanket, help to locate ourselves. And that by itself can be all you need to get in through that gate into presence. So last couple weeks for movement, I have been, I did something fairly energetic a couple weeks ago when I needed to lift my energy. And last week I'm pretty sure we did breathing, a box breath or square breath, following the 4-phase breath. And today I'm going to just give you yogi's choice, meditator's choice. What is it you feel you need? Maybe you need to stand up and do like the breath of joy, conductor's breath, or what I call wood chopper, or some other movement, or maybe a twisting movement. And actually, I think I will join in a seated twisting movement. Or you might do something just much more subtle. Just work with your breath. I'm going to put my legs in a sort of a pinwheel and take an arm about shoulder level, lean on one arm. And while moving, so you can choose your movement, but let's also tune into our breath. Oh, that was an element I meant to say. Whenever I'm inquiring and feeling and playing with my body forms and with its surrounding forces of gravity and all the other forces we have, the weather, the parametric pressure, what we ate for dinner and how we slept, all those seeming like external or experiential forces also I include the breath. I'm trying to remember to include the breath. So if you're twisting with me, one option you might do is let the head then turn the opposite direction that the front heart turns. And then let the eyes go even deeper in the same direction that the face turns. The eyes turning within their orbs. And then to really mix it up, you can let the eyes go with the front heart. Whew, that gives me a little nausea every time I do it. So the head is turning, the face is turning opposite the front heart, but the eyes are going with the front heart. And then let everything join in the same direction. I'm going to come to center and just pause for a moment. in the pause, check in and see what's true here now, what's new, what's true. What's true, and the words, the labels we give to it is a huge other chapter that's really important in my practice. How we express what's true to ourselves. And then let's take the other side. And I'm very aware that I invited you to do whatever movement, however, whatever intensity you preferred at this time, or you can be joining me as I sit in sort of what I sometimes call a mermaid. It's mermaid if I have my feet closer, call it pinwheel with the knees a little bit farther apart. This is one of my favorite movements. It is from Feldenkrais, and I actually learned it. It was some of my first Feldenkrais that I learned at Sun and Moon Yoga Studio, maybe as early as 1999 or so, from Don and Amba Stapleton. Oh, I don't know if you know those names. All right, so head is going with the faces facing the hand, and head might turn even deeper, and eyes might go even deeper. When you're leaning onto your hand, and if leaning onto your wrist doesn't work well, you can take like a spidery hand by just leaning into your fingers or make a fist. And then you might join me in reversing just how we do that, how we reorganize to reverse that the face turns away from the front heart. That can kind of create a gridlock in the brain for a moment. It's a very good kind of gridlock. It's like a shakeout, the patterning of the mind. And then we can pause and see, oh yeah, I can reorganize. And I don't even know if I'm going to do the I portion here. This tendency toward nausea, but let me do it slowly. So now, if you'd like, let the eyes start to turn opposite the way the face is turning, so that the eyes are now going the same direction as the front heart. And that might cause more brain gridlock. And then I'm going to let everything go in the same direction again. Lovely, lovely, lovely. And when you're ready, come to a stopping point. And I'm not even I was going to fix to get ready for a meditation position, but just land. Just land where you are. And I'm even a little bit bowed. My head is a little bowed. Try not to decide how you're going to land, but sort of let it erupt from how it comes up inside. Breath. I mentioned breath, but then I didn't bring out how to pay attention to the breath and the movement. Hopefully you were noting your breath. And breath is coming up powerfully for me here now. The loosening of the body opens up space for the breath in a different way. And bringing all these other parts of us more online pretty much easily, right? Not much effort, just with some simple, hopefully enjoyable moves. Allows us to start to integrate more and more pieces of ourselves, opening this aperture of our consciousness more and more, which is a skill and a practice. And as we do, each particular can have its place, have its acknowledgement. And so also be aware that you may be giving words or a commentary about how you're feeling or your experience in it. That's kind of a thing we do, like sports commentators. It's natural for us to do that and helpful for getting to what's the truth here now. When we sense what is fresh, and we can feel what is more a memory or a plan or an imagining or a calculation. I'm just going to lean in to see again. Oh, Jackie's there too. Yay, Jackie. Glad I leaned in to see that, because now, as you might just stay right where you are, and as we segue into our stillness and silence portion, I'm going to lead with a poem. You might, like me, just get anything else you need to support the pose you'll choose for meditation. And I was communicating telepathically with Jackie before this practice as I choose to read the poem that she read in the Friday meditation, which I highly recommend. You can sign up for. It's free. You can give donations. It's a Friday mornings at 8 to 8:30, weekdays on Zoom. And then afterwards, we hang out a little bit, if those of us who have time, for community and conversation. So this poem, one of the things I love about it, I'm going to focus your attention. You may find other things that you like about it, but I like that it's echoing what I mentioned in the beginning, that for me, the perhaps primary reason for meditation and for practice and my spiritual direction is to more and more feel the capital P presence, capital S self that is my always-ness, that is always here, has always been here with me. And it is actually the same for all of us. It's our, I don't have the words for it. Let the poem say it for me. And at the same time, so it's part of that, a corollary, that it does not devalue in any way all the forms that are always changing. This sweater, which I love, and in a few years it'll be holy, or I won't be able to wear it. This tea in front of me that I will drink and it'll be gone. The skin that is changing with time. All of that is precious and here for our joy. So as I read the poem, and then I'll segue us right into the meditation, stillness. The Second Music by Annie Lighthart. Now I understand that there are two melodies playing, one below the other, one easier to hear, the other lower, steady, perhaps more faithful for being less heard, yet always present. When all other things seem lively and real, this one fades, yet the notes of it touch as gently as fingertips, as the sound of the names laid over each child at birth. I want to stay in that music without striving or cover. If the truth of our lives is what it is playing, the telling is so soft that this mortal time, this irrevocable change, becomes beautiful. I stop and stop again to hear the second music. I hear the children in the yard, a train, then birds. All this is in it and will be gone. I set my ear to it as I would to a heart. And so I bow and we begin our 8-minute meditation. if you feel like you're slip sliding away from the intent of your practice here, the stillness, the silence, if you feel accosted by mind storms, use any of the tools that we know to come back. Again and again, come back and just see it as a home welcoming, not a punishment. Again and again, relax into that second music, which we know is there. I think all of us know it in our hearts. And as any of the layer of first music, whether it's things that are happening in the world, things that are happening in your body, concerns, anxieties, fears, sadnesses, maybe happy anticipations. Feel that this second music that we are is the capacity for holding all of it. Again and again, relax. Sense that your breath is always here with you. It's that stream of the constant, eternal stream of presence where we are all in sameness. And then from that, the many musics of our particular form, particular talents, our particular experiences. The mind by itself cannot get this. It has to be coupled with experience, experiential knowing. So as you're ready, a few more breaths. Take a bow together, signifying the end of the practice and just this very important transition of recognizing one, one activity to another. And then if you like, you can just continue in meditation. But recognize that there's a time that we take what we do on the cushion, off the cushion. We take it with us, even though the forms and feeling and brain waves change as we do that. So I had wanted to share this poem, and there was another association with Jackie, and of course I'm retelling it from her. Her having told it to me several times. We were on a week of retreat together, and one afternoon in the meditations, Catherine Locates is there too, and maybe Virginia. So rich. I think our teacher, Adyashanti, I think he suggested to listen. And it was probably a little bit of a warm afternoon in the fall. I remember it being sunny, and I didn't know about this till after the retreat because we weren't speaking. But something about the invitation that Adya gave, Jackie tuned into all the sounds we could hear out the windows. Those hums of the insects and trees, and maybe the wind, and maybe the little bit of, so it was a big group of people in the hall, 300 of us or so, little bits of moving or breathing or a cough or something. And she saw it as she felt it as this universal symphony, just that we were all connected in it, that we were all part of it. It was so beautiful. So this theme that I jumped into of our being connectedness, but this at the most fundamental level in this stream of presence. And I realized, it came to me during meditation, what I meant to have the theme today. This is a good one. It was sort of a third one after the prayer and asking for help, connection, gratitude. And maybe we'll talk more about that and feel it more this week. But I feel like that's a third one. Who knows how many more? We could probably find tons of ways we're connected, right? So many ways. And that might be a fun kind of brainstorming, free association. But in that alwaysness of ourself, in the second music, and in when we list the things we're grateful for, and maybe a little of that was coming through, just comes through, perhaps when we drop into that sense of presence, we sense that the joy that is that and the connectedness. And I am well aware that many of us are feeling a lot of, in this particular date when I'm recording, end of February 2025, many of us are feeling turmoil in the world around us. That's our perspective. Deep turmoil, deep frustration, maybe anger. And that is part of that is one of the music. That's the music too. So I'm not denying that. And the second music does not deny that either. Thank you guys so much. I think I have to give you a glimpse, as I often do, of my co-meditators here, my teachers who are who teach me. Thanks for being here. Ciao, ciao. See you next week.